Hello everyone, I'm Daniela and this is Emigra con Daniela, the space where I explain everything about visas, migration, and how to achieve that American dream, step by step. And today I bring you a topic that excites me a lot because it can mark a before and after in your life. We are going to talk about the EB-3 visa, one of the most stable and comprehensive options for legally immigrating to the United States with your entire family. But watch out, because in this video, I not only explain how this visa works, but at the end, I'm going to tell you about a new payment method that's changing the game. So if you want to know how to pay less and with better conditions, don't go away. Well, first things first, what is the EB-3 visa? This visa is a work visa for people who wish to live and work legally in the United States with a real job offer. This visa is ideal for those seeking stable employment and the possibility of obtaining a green card for themselves and their immediate family. And this is not just a piece of paper, because with the EB-3 visa, you can have your green card, as I mentioned, meaning your residency permit for 10 years, salary in dollars, access to healthcare and education, the ability to apply for loans, job mobility, and real growth opportunities. And don't forget, all of this also applies to your immediate family, that is your spouse and children under 21 years old, which makes this visa a great option if you're thinking about building a future from scratch in another country, but without being alone. Let's get to the point. The entire process can take between 3 to 4 years, depending on various factors such as your nationality and the processing times of the United States government. It's not a quick path, but it is very clear, very secure, and very structured, and that provides a lot of peace of mind. Here I explain how it is divided step by step. Initial application. You get in touch with MCC USA. Remember that if you want to get a discount, if you finally decide to apply, that first contact must be through the link I leave in the information box or in the comments. If not, later you won't be able to claim a discount or join my private WhatsApp group, where there are more applicants. So you get in touch with them, review the available vacancies, and choose. If the employer accepts your profile, a contract is signed. Next, we move on to the ETA 9089 labor certification. MCC manages a permit with the Department of Labor that authorizes international hiring. The next step would be the I-140 petition, where the presenting employer and USCIS submit the application to sponsor your visa. The fourth step would be the residency process. Here you do your part by submitting the DS-260 form if you are outside the United States, or the I-485 if you are inside. All of this is done with the support of MCC. And the last step would be onboarding and arrival. Once your visa is approved, MCC supports you with travel logistics, training with your new employer, and everything necessary for your new life. Note, they will not cover your tickets, hotel, or accommodation, nor will they find housing for you, but they can provide advice or connect you with people who specialize in relocation in the United States. It sounds a bit long, but it's a process designed to ensure you arrive in the United States with everything in order and without any surprises. And now we are going to talk about the requirements. This step is crucial because many believe that just wanting to apply is enough. But the truth is that several conditions must be met. The applicant's requirements would be to be in good health, have no serious criminal record, have no immigration inadmissibilities such as previous deportations or fraud, have at least an intermediate B1 level of English for phase 3 of the process. And some employers even require it from phase 1. Commit to working for at least 1 year with the employer in the United States, and have the financial resources to cover the costs thereof the process. And this is important because you will also need to save for your arrival in the United States. As I mentioned, all these costs do not cover the tickets, what you will have to pay there for rent, the security deposit, furniture, food, etc. While you wait for your first paycheck, of course. And remember that your partner will also be able to work in whatever he or she wants. Only you or the main applicant you choose will have to work with the sponsor. Employer requirements. Well, don't worry about this because MCC already connects us with companies that have a lot of experience with all this and meet all the requirements, obviously. But I will mention them to you simply for general knowledge. The first requirement is to demonstrate that they cannot hire enough workers locally. That is, there is no American who wants to work at that company or who can work at that company in that vacancy. The next requirement would be to offer a full-time job, that is, 40 hours a week. The next would be to demonstrate their financial capacity to hire you. In other words, they are not going to pay you a pittance. The salaries are reasonable. As you can see, both sides must fulfill their part. This is not a favor. It's not a lottery. It's a serious process where commitment must be demonstrated. And now that you know that, let's move on to one of the most anticipated topics, the costs and that new payment method that many have been waiting for. The entire process currently costs $23,900, which MCC USA has divided into 5 installments to make it more accessible. The first installment is $3,000 upon signing the contract. The second is $2,000 120 days after signing. The third is $6,950 upon approval of the ETA 9089 form. The next is $6,950 when the I-140 is approved. And the last installment, which is $5,000, is due before submitting the DS-260 or 90 days after the I-140. Previously, this process started with an initial payment of $5,000, but thanks to this new approach, you can now start with just $3,000. This makes things much easier for those who really want to begin but couldn't afford such a high entry fee, or were hesitant to get involved in such a process with so much money. Meanwhile, they become familiar with the entire agency, all the fellow applicants, and gain more confidence in the process. This amount includes immigration lawyers, recruitment, personalized advice, travel preparation, and green card processing. It does not include government fees, translations, medical exams, etc. And as always, if you start your process with my link that I leave in the description, then you get an exclusive discount and direct access to my private WhatsApp group where I accompany you throughout the journey, along with other people who are a bit ahead of me or behind, as we all motivate each other. By the way, I'm going to share a little gossip with you, and it's that when I started this process, I also applied with a referral link and got that discount. That's why I think it's a perfect opportunity that you shouldn't miss. You already know for your first contact with NCC, you have to do it through this link. If you do it another way, if you search for NCC USA on Google and end up contacting them organically, then you won't be able to claim this discount. And that's it. Thank you for making it this far. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, to keep receiving content that informs you, to keep getting updates on my process, and to continue filling yourself with information that brings you closer to that great American dream. And remember that I have social media. You can follow me on my Instagram, on my TikTok. On my Instagram, I post little tidbits about my daily life living abroad. You are also the first to know about updates on my process, so don't hesitate to follow me. I also have an email in case you don't have Instagram and have something important to tell me or ask me about the process. You can write to me at emigrarcondaniela@gmail.com. And don't forget, remember that nothing is impossible if you set your mind to it and start working towards it from now. See you in the next video. A hug, bye.